No one is looking forward to losing an hour of sleep this Sunday, but with Alberta's neighbors to the west doing it for the last time, the debate around whether or not Alberta should scrap the time change is back. But what time should the province stick with?
I actually don't really mind it. Yeah, I think that it's marks something, and I think that you can find like deep symbolism with it, like changing times back and forth.
I hate losing the hour's sleep, and I know like getting rid of it is like popular, but I kind of like the reward of getting that extra hour when we go back. I'm like, it's a little treat.
Alberta's finance minister Tuesday says if Alberta were to follow BC in scrapping the time change, the debate would center around whether or not Alberta would stay on daylight time or standard time.
In December, the sun rises about 8:30. If we go to permanent year-round daylight time, it would be 9:30. For some of our more western communities, like Grand Prairie, we'd actually find the sunrise on permanent daylight time in December would be around 10:30 in the morning.
It takes them a little bit to get used to, and it's just undue stress that, you don't really, if you don't need to inflict it on them, why? Happy cows make more milk. It's kind of how that goes.
Much like humans, cows struggle with the time change twice a year, too. A common myth points to farmers as the reason for the twice-yearly time change, when in reality the wartime measure was meant to save on power costs. But Alberta dairy farmer Ryan Bowman tells me with better tractor lights, technology, and computer software than a century ago, that doesn't matter much anymore. He'd like Alberta to follow our neighbors in BC and Saskatchewan in ditching the time change.
And that depends when we get there, when we feed the cows. So then if they get fed at different times in the day, then it just kind of disturbs the natural balance of things.
But the change will have an impact on TV schedules. Already, the NHL commissioner bracing for Alberta and BC to be on the same time zone next winter.
We'll deal with whatever we have to deal with. That's what we do. And we'll adjust start times as is necessary. It's not like we're not used to dealing with different time zones, right? We have teams in the East, the Central, the Mountain, and the Pacific. So it'll be what it'll be.
Albertans have had their say on the time change. In 2021, a referendum to stay on daylight time narrowly defeated. But with Premier Smith saying it's time to revisit the question, Albertans will be left with the question of would they rather keep our early morning sunrise in the winter or those late sunsets in the summer?
I really like long summers, and I think there's something very significant about a long summer. And I think that's what a lot of Canadians love, are the long summers.
Probably earlier sunset. I think we need those earlier hours when it's brighter out. Earlier. Vitamin D,
With wintertime, you really have to be mindful of when that sun rises. The human circadian clock needs that early morning light.
Psychologist Michael Antle says his research shows staying on standard time for earlier sunrises in the winter would be better for Albertans' overall health. Darcy Robchan, City News, Edmonton.